and have him repeat what he just said.
Oh, you guys miss all the fun even when you're behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We're back.
Yep.
Joshua Heston, editor-in-chieftain.
Ethan Grubaugh.
Facebook famous. Powder keg.
Mm-hmm.
You powder keg, you.
Yeah, because I'm explosive. And I found this sitting on Josh's coffee table.
And I'm wearing my Avengers shirt.
Yeah.
What was that was referred?
The sports bra.
Yeah, it's my sports bra because it keeps my posture in place.
Yeah.
Good posture, happy posture. But it's got Thor on it. Right there. What else has it got on it? I don't really look at my t-shirts. Got lots of Marvel Avengers, but like comic book Marvel Avengers.
Yeah, not cinematic.
No.
Let's see. I don't think there's any other any other gods on there.
Okay, no. Let's see. Here's Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America.
Is that Black Widow?
Yes.
Okay.
Ant-Man.
Okay.
Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye. Vision.
Vision up here?
No, that's Iron Man.
Oh, I can't see upside down.
There you go.
Okay.
Looks like Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther. Yeah, Black Panther.
Uh-huh.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Glorious nerd.
That's all I can recognize at the moment.
Okay. Cool. All right. You ready to rock and roll them?
Yep.
All righty. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Welcome to the State of the Ozarks podcast. This is Josh Heston, editor-in-chief.
And this is Ethan Grubaugh.
And we're talking about our Ozarks.
Your community.
And this episode of Been Thinkin About has been brought to you by Vintage Paris Coffee Shop and Roastery with Matt and Jessica Farmer.
Artist Christine Reitzel, Beauty from Light.
Josh Huxtable, State of the Ozarks patron.
Stafford's Barbershop and Shave Company, the place for men in downtown Branson.
Shepherd the Musical, rediscovering America's story.
Blue Rock Print Company, upgrade your look.
And the Taney County Health Department, creating opportunities for healthy lives in our community. There we go. Are you ready for 4th of July?
I am very ready. This is like right next to Christmas as far as favorite holidays.
I think that's fair. 4th of July is my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
So tell me, I'm gonna get all sentimental here, but tell me some of your favorite 4th of July memories.
Well, 4th of July is pretty much the same every year for us, but it's a good consistency. Dad will fire up the grill, make way too much food.
He does that.
It's great. I love it. And then, we'll watch the Hollister fireworks show go off because we can see it from basically right outside on the cul-de-sac.
Yes.
So we'll sit out there and watch that. There was one year I went over to a friend's house for 4th of July and we watched the fireworks show. We climbed up on the roof of the house and watched it from there. That was pretty fun. Last year was the first time my sister and her husband and their kids were in Missouri for 4th of July.
Right.
In several years.
Yes.
And so we convinced them to come down and shoot off fireworks, and me and my brother-in-law we had I bought a box of these mortar shots that had like 2, 3, 4 different shots in one. And so we tried to see how many of those we could light off at the same time. So we each had like 2 tubes, and then we twisted the fuses together, lit them on fire, booked it the other way. And so there's 4 tubes going off,
yes.
Each with 4 shots.
Yes.
So that's 16 fireworks going off at once. It was awesome. I loved it.
It is glorious.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know that I grew up in Central Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the laws of things have changed around a bit, but at the time I was growing up, fireworks were illegal.
Yeah.
To be purchased in Illinois, and also illegal to be purchased in Iowa. But of course, I have family in both states.
Mm-hmm.
But for a very long time they have been legal for purchase in Missouri.
Yes. I love it.
It is glorious. It's so much fun, and it's having the freedom to buy fireworks and blow things up.
Mm-hmm.
I think really relates to the fact that this is a day celebrating our freedom.
Yeah. I mean, the rocket's red glare.
Absolutely, it is.
And what?
And Chinese bombs bursting in air.
Well, what was always fun, as a kid, we didn't really do a lot of the big stuff, because they cost more money. So normally we would just have, some bottle rockets, smoke bombs, the little poppers that you threw on the ground. And then one year, I can't remember how we got them, but somehow we got a bunch of the mortar shells.
Yes.
And both myself and Dad just absolutely fell in love with the things, and so now every year we buy way too many, have enough for next year, and then still buy more.
At Crazy Debbie's Fireworks Store.
Yes, that place is great.
Yeah, that was so. We'll dig into this. I just want to throw this in because back growing up in Illinois and Iowa, in Illinois, one of my favorite places growing up, one of my favorite places of all time was going to the dime store. Mm-hmm. This was, of course, before Walmart. Going to the dime store in downtown Chillicothe, which was one of the old original buildings in downtown Chillicothe. And what was great was they pretty much, a couple of weeks beforehand, they would deck the place out for whatever, in preparation for whatever holiday. So you knew that you were coming up on 4th of July when you went to the dime store and got to pick out your candy, and then everything was done in red, white, and blue, and there was American flags and bunting and all that stuff everywhere, mm-hmm. which was so neat. But the most that you could actually purchase legally was sparklers. That was it. So we'd play with sparklers, but that was it.
And sparklers are fun.
Oh, they are. And then over in Iowa, which my family is in very much southern Iowa, actually, depending on family member, anywhere from maybe 20 miles to 14 miles to 8 miles from the Missouri border. And so if you take any major road south into Missouri, the minute that you cross the state line, there is a giant fireworks store. Lineville, Missouri, and there's the fireworks store. Only for Missouri residents.
Well, what's funny, you say that. That seems to be a common trend with Missouri is building or having stores right on a state line where other things are illegal. Wild Bill's.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Discount. Gas station and liquor store.
Yes, I love Wild Bill's.
Sits right on the Arkansas state
border.
line.
Yeah, going into Newton County, Arkansas.
Yeah, and so for the longest time, and it just recently changed, but for the longest time, Arkansas was a dry state. Mm-hmm. So of course, the only way you could get anything of the adult beverage type would be to go over to Wild Bill's right on the state line where they charge you twice the price because they could.
I think they bounced their prices out.
Oh yeah, because Arkansas,
is no longer, and Newton County is no longer dry county, and
right.
Yeah.
So that was the only way that you could get anything, and so that whether it's fireworks or alcohol, one way or another, Missouri's got what you need.
Yeah. It is a combustible, dangerous, and beautiful combination.
Yes.
Of American freedom.
Yes. Because as every American holiday, the best way to celebrate it is with barbecue and alcohol
and fireworks.
And fireworks, yes.
There are a lot of holidays that could be really improved with that combination. Mm-hmm. Labor Day.
Yes.
Halloween.
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
Absolutely.
Definitely Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day needs to become the epicenter of barbecue, alcohol, and fireworks. We need to make this a man's holiday.
Yes.
No more Hallmark cards. Let's just blow crap up.
Yeah. I'm all about that.
This is what makes Missouri the best state in the union.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can also shoot off fireworks on New Year's.
This is true, mm-hmm. And this is a that was new for me.
Yeah, and it's not very common. Like we've never actually done it, but yeah, you can shoot off fireworks on New Year's Eve. Yep.
Yes.
So normally people start launching them off right at midnight, which sucks because then you have to stop by like 12:30.
Right. we should. State of the Ozarks should do the whole firework thing on New Year's Eve.
I think we should do it on every holiday.
I'm good with
Flag
that.
Day?
Flag Day, definitely Flag Day. Memorial Day. Easter.
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day.
Guy Fawkes Day.
Definitely Guy Fawkes Day. We must do it on Guy Fawkes Day. I mean, that's tradition.
Yes.
Yeah, British tradition, but still tradition.
Well, and you know what? We are celebrating it because we kicked the British out of this country.
And we foiled anarchy.
Guy Fawkes tried to blow up the
Parliament.
The Parliament.
Yes, under the reign of King James I.
And we just told him to shove it.
We love our Scottish kings.
Yes. God bless America.
Our Scottish kings and our Scottish queens. We love them both. Oh, the gloriously messy middles.
Mm-hmm.
That's the title of the editorial this week. It seems a little strange for 4th of July, but I wanted to mix it up. Yeah. And we've gotten, to me, this is the articles this week represent the freedom, sort of two sides of freedom that I feel like are extremes on both sides take offense with. Which doesn't sound like it makes sense. Hopefully it does. We've got the firework art, which we have already been digging into. It's an article. It's an article ostensibly about the artwork that comes on fireworks, which I love. I love pulp writing and I love pulp design and art. And these are graphic designs. They're made en masse and they're purchased only to be set on fire.
Yeah.
But most of this, and to me, unbelievably evocative, brash, sometimes offensive art is blown up, reduced to little bitty shreds.
It reminds me of a thing that I bought last year. It was like this little like Pac-Man type head. It was just round, had the eyes, had the open mouth, and it was like green foil stuff, except the eyes and inside the mouth were fountains, so when you lit this thing off, it starts spewing stuff out of its eyes and mouth while spinning. Oh, I loved it.
It's beautiful and terrifying.
I wish I had 5.
It's not too late. Yeah. Crazy Debbie's is open.
Yeah?
Yeah, I drove by there. Yeti's is open too, so Mount Branson is now my favorite place to want to go.
See, I've never actually been to Yeti's.
We do need to fix that.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, we actually, before you run off to become educated, we need to put together a bucket list of things to do this summer.
Yes.
Let's see. So hike some places down in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Go to the Passion Play.
Oh, I love the Passion Play.
Go to Shepherd of the Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Yeti's and get their snow cones.
Yeah. Blow stuff up on 4th of July.
Absolutely.
That's a given, though.
That one, yeah, that one's...
That is a Grubauer tradition that as long as I live shall never...
I love it. And I love the fact, of course, State of the Ozarks headquarters, a.k.a. my house, is right next to you guys. Yeah. And then we've got a nice space out on the alley that gives us plenty of space to blow stuff up. Yeah. And so this kind of, the 4th of July tradition is one that I stepped into late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, late isn't like the last 10 years, when I got to celebrate with you guys.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It cannot get any better.
Yeah.
And of course, coming back to the gloriously messy middles, the idea that we have this sort of this big chunk of culture in the middle that people can take offense to. And one of course, is what we've already been talking about. There's this brash, hillbilly, redneck, freedom, libertarian.
America.
Yes, welcome to America by way of Larry the Cable Guy. And who I'm a huge fan of. And there's something, again, there's the sort of the stereotypical brash American. And quite frankly, I love it. Mm-hmm. I really love it. And Missouri is the gateway to the West. Mm-hmm. The Wild West.
Yeah.
And there's the further, I feel like the further you get from the coast, the less civilized you get. And I mean that in the best way possible. that freedom to be yourself and blow crap up and drink beer and, pretty much let it all hang out.
Right.
I think it's awesome. But there are certainly people who take offense with that. I was even in some things I was reading some social media posts going, I hate it when we hear fireworks going off for like weeks ahead of time. Of course, within city limits, you're supposed to only shoot off fireworks on 4th of July.
The 4th and the 5th.
Okay.
You can launch them off on the 5th.
And
there's the 3rd and the 4th. Either way.
Anyway, look it up for your check the ordinances for your local city municipality. Don't take our word for it. Mm-hmm. But these complaints of we're constantly, I hate hearing the fireworks go off all the time and blah 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 and it's so expensive and it's this and it's that. And I'm like, it's glorious. Yeah. It is so awesome.
Well, and like if you live outside of city limits, I don't think there's any regulations.
No.
Ever.
I don't think so.
I mean, if you can fire off a rifle on your own property outside of city limits, I don't think there's a problem
with fireworks.
With fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was it was a social media feed I was watching today, and they were complaining about everything that was
America.
Terrible. Yeah, they were complaining about America. We need more control, and then of course the other article that is this week is the art of Harlan Bonner. Mm-hmm. Now you weren't not familiar with.
I have no idea who this man is.
So I actually I did not meet Harlan. I got to see his art at the Wilson Creek whatever anniversary in 2011. August of 2011.
Oh.
Is when I actually was exposed to his art. He does a lot of Civil War themed artwork. And that's what he typically sets up. And that was the reason that his art was at the battlefield,
right?
The battlefield reenactment up by Springfield for in commemorating the Battle of Wilson's Creek,
right,
in the Civil War. So and I picked up his card and I'm like, wow, this looks really interesting. He lives in Knob Noster, which is just west of Sedalia, actually really close to the Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
And this is it's really in that in between country where the Ozarks are giving way to that tall grass prairie as you move out toward Kansas.
Yeah.
So it's borderland. It's like, are we in the Ozarks? Are we not? Some maps show that you are, some don't. It's close enough. As far as I'm concerned, Sedalia, Missouri is the furthest northwest city in the Ozarks, even though it's really starting to get into flatland. But even just a little bit north, you still get, geologically, you get the Ozarks with the exposed rock and the bluffs and that. So it's really in that in-between space. His studio is out there in sort of where it's, stretching into prairie. And so in late August of 2011, I got the permission to stop by and visit with him and photograph his art. And he's known for a lot of the Civil War pieces, but as you got to see in the article, there's a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, there's I don't know if I want to ruin the surprise for those of you who haven't read it.
Oh, go read it real quick.
Yeah.
Read it while you're listening to the podcast, while we tell you about it. There's a lot of religious iconography in his work, and there's a lot of nudity.
Yes.
You would not have expected that much nudity in something about Revelation.
Yeah.
From the book of Revelation, but wow, it's eye-opening. Or something.
It's something. I mean, and then the piece he did about 9/11.
Yes.
There's also nudity.
Yes, in The Old Man of the Mountain.
Yes.
The Old Man of the Mountain wasn't nude though, was he? He was wrapped up in clothes.
No.
Well, it's actually Osama bin Laden is the Old Man of the Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
talking, and it was he told me he had just gotten back from New York City.
Yeah, I read that like 2 weeks before.
Yes, yeah. So he had been at the World Trade Center. He had been at all those locations just shortly before, and then was watching it, and it was very. So I think that there's a lot of catharsis.
Yeah.
Within that, he uses amazing colors.
Yeah, very vibrant.
Extremely so. Oils and he talks about this in the article, but using pure color, he doesn't mix a lot of paint to mute out or combine. It's like if you get green, that's the green that came out of the tube, that sort of thing. And he's self-taught.
Oh.
He's very clear about that he has always been self-taught, and amazing stuff. But a lot of it is provocative. I'm on his Christmas newsletter list, and wow, there's a lot of language. And it all comes, it's a fold out Christmas newsletter that is all basically written like comic strip panels with equal amounts of language and nudity. Merry Christmas. Yes. Yeah. So the thing that I was going with, and we'll kind of take the same point from last week and get your dad in here as well, but we have these two sides, to me, for American culture, that we have these two sides of freedom. We have this avant-garde art that is willing to push boundaries and potentially offend people, which, and what I'm about to say may offend people as well, but I grew up in the 80s, and every time you turned around in the 80s, there was, so full disclaimer, I'm Southern Baptist. I tend to be very socially conservative in a lot of ways. Go to church on a pretty regular basis. Yeah. And my faith is very important to me. But I remember growing up in the 80s, and every time you turned around, there was another, super conservative group of terribly concerned citizens boycotting something for some reason. We're boycotting Disney, we're boycotting Metallica, we're boycotting, if it didn't fit, what was considered true and proper and good, then it was offensive. And we're boycotting, music lyrics, and we're boycotting, you name it. And I felt like we had really made this great step past that. And I think, it'd be very easy for people people from that perspective getting offended with Harlan Bonner's art. There's again, the combination of religious iconography, nudity, difficult themes, all language, all of this stuff. I love the freedom of it. I love freedom of expression. I love the fact that we can come together and yes, I recognize that some of this could be considered offensive, but that's the point. It initiates discussion. Right. And so we've had that, but I felt like to such a large degree we moved past that. As we got through the 90s and onward, we had really moved past a lot of that. Now coming back to the firework art, so much firework art is so politically incorrect. It's not even funny. Oh my gosh, I referenced that in the article. Yeah. It's inappropriate enough that you can read on the article, but I'm not even going to say some of it on here. But I love the fact that it's there. I love the fact that it's this is human expression. And yet we have elements within our society who are now becoming just as offended as the church moms in the 80s, that somehow somebody is going to be offended or hurt by this, or this is bad, or this is whatever. And I'm like, we need to chill.
And trust me, the people who are getting offended by firework art are in states that you don't allow fireworks.
No doubt.
Let me blow my stuff up, and you just sit there and do whatever it is that you do on your day. I don't know your life.
Absolutely, and we encourage you to celebrate 4th of July responsibly, and do it in a way that you find enjoyable, whatever that may happen to be. So with that, let's get your dad in here.
All right.
We are on a roll. God, I love cooking.
started playing it. And she goes, "We won!" I went, "Oh crap." Sorry if you heard my granddaughter going.
It's all good.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
Good.
Hey, Bearcats.
Howdy. White on white.
Here we go.
Or gray on gray.
Dale, it's good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Are you ready for 4th of July?
I am so ready for 4th of July.
You are the barbecue king of 4th of July.
That's me.
Ethan and I, you probably heard. Ethan and I were talking about the fact you guys' 4th of July, it was a life-defining moment for me by being able to celebrate 4th of July the way you guys celebrate 4th of July.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Good. Yeah, we kind of get into it. Plus, not only do I like to cook on the grill, I like to blow things up.
It is glorious.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
It is. And so with this, I want to pick your brain on something very, very specific. And again, you are a longtime veteran Southern Baptist pastor.
You're just telling everybody I'm old. I've only been doing this for 45 years. I'm just a puppy.
And so the editorial this week, of course, is the gloriously messy middles, and the articles is chosen for I chose them for specific reasons. We've got the firework art, which is oftentimes politically incorrect, i.e. offensive, and then we have Harlan Bonner's art, which is glorious and sometimes very offensive as well, for completely different reasons. You have, and I hate to make political comparisons, but you have things that are, the firework art that could be very divisive or politically incorrect or offensive to extreme folks on the left, and of course the voluptuous nudes and the religious iconography combined with voluptuous nudes, and nudity in language and stuff that could be considered very offensive on the right. Mm-hmm. So this is where I'm going with this. Back in and I was talking a little bit, but I grew up in the 80s, and it seemed like every time you turned around there was another religious right group taking offense and boycotting something over somebody, CD lyrics or album lyrics or Disney or whatever. And I just wanted to pick your brain, coming from your position of leadership, about being offended and boycotting things.
Well, I don't think we can stop people from being offended, because we get offended too. But as far as boycotting, in one pastorate that I was in, there was a local gas station, convenience store, that type of thing, that for years and years and years had never sold alcohol, but they applied for a liquor license and were able to sell beer. And one of the other pastors in the area was just up in arms and challenging his church, and everybody to boycott them, and boycott that particular place, because they were now selling beer and contributing to the delinquency of whatever, I don't know. And the problem I got into was one of the ladies that was working, in that convenience store, happened to be a close friend of ours. She was not a member of our church, but she attended our church, and she came to me and she says, if people boycott and don't come in here, then I'm going to lose my job. If I lose my job, then my kids are not going to eat, and she says, and I need this job. I mean, this town wasn't, overrun with a lot of jobs, and she was very glad to have it. And the one thing that I think we don't understand is, we want to boycott this and boycott that, but we don't understand we're hurting the people, who are who are working hard for their families, and they're depending upon that income to take care of things. I think there are other ways that we can demonstrate. And what I told the guy, I said, if you don't want to buy the beer, don't buy the beer. You still got to have gas in your car. You got to sell bread for the toaster. So I wasn't real popular, but that's kind of where I was.
There's been a number of times that you've not been real popular for your views.
Yeah. I sometimes can be a little controversial, and I don't do it to be controversial. I just do it to be real. I mean, there's got to be some common sense somewhere.
Well, and I think it's interesting. It's very easy to get bent out of shape. It's very easy to overreact, and it's very easy to stop seeing people as people and start seeing them as blocks. And I think that it doesn't. I don't think that that's not a problem on the right or a problem on the left. I think that's just a problem.
Yeah. You're talking about growing up in the 80s.
Yes.
I grew up, basically in the 60s, and I graduated from high school in the mid-70s. And, the hard rock music, and that. And people were going, oh, if you play it backwards, there's a satanic message, So, going, okay, we all started buying, the albums and all this, the records, and trying to play them backwards because we wanted to hear what the message was, Was it really there, Sometimes those kind of things have the effect that people really don't want to have happen. Like Dolly Parton says, if they're talking bad about her, at least, they're talking about her. She's getting...
Yes.
In one case in point, I know this is probably off the subject a little bit, but I think Harry Potter wouldn't be a household word now if the Christian community hadn't been so up in arms about it, and been so vocal. He'd have probably just passed off into the night somewhere.
Been just some other children's book series.
Yeah, and wow, the Christian community got up in arms, and made J.K. Rowling some multimillionaire. So,
which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I want to dig into this because we're both big Harry Potter fans.
Yes.
And you have been a Harry Potter fan for a long time. Tell me about that process.
Well, it started with my daughter, who at the time was in 4th grade, and she had won some sort of contest at school, and the prize was one of the Harry Potter books, and it was a reading contest. And one of the Harry Potter books, because there were some of the ladies in our church that were so, anti-Harry Potter, she was concerned. She said, "Dad, what do I do?" And I said, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to read it first. And if I find anything objectionable in it, we'll just put it down and we won't worry about it." I read it. It was Goblet of Fire, the 4th book. I kind of walked in the middle of all of it.
It wasn't the first one.
No, it wasn't the first one. And as I read it, I'm going, this is nothing but the Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew set in a magic world, a magical kingdom. I didn't see anything demonic. I didn't see anything, reprehensible to it. I mean, the killing curse was abracadabra. They pronounce it differently, but that's basically what it was, And I'm going, this is, there's not a whole lot of hype. I mean, there's a lot of hype, but not a lot of substance to the hype, that this is all evil. They celebrated Christmas and they did all kinds of things within this. And I'm going, oh, man. So that got me hooked. I started back at book 1, I have all the books. I have all the recordings or the movies, and someone's going to say, well, that makes you an evil person. No, I don't. No, it doesn't. It means I enjoy, and as a family, we've enjoyed, the Harry Potter series, and we still continue to enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually got into reading and watching the Harry Potter movies because of you.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm going to be a bright flame somewhere, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
It's, but I think it's so...
Did you notice him? He's not looking too happy. I'm not sure. You okay with all this? Okay, never mind. it's the mouse in the corner that we're talking about.
Yeah. And so I think my bottom line is, I'm gonna watch a Harry Potter movie, go buy some beer, and eat at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to go to the local fireworks store, and I'm going to buy my fireworks for the event, and we're going to be out here and blow things up and make pretty colors in the sky, to not just to blow things up, but to celebrate.
Yeah.
To celebrate our nation, to celebrate us as a people, and to celebrate our freedom, which unfortunately, there are those who are trying to take that away from us. Yeah, we probably ought not to get on the political side of that, but it's sad that and this again, I think about this a lot. I've been to Jefferson Barracks, which is Missouri's military cemetery, just outside of St. Louis.
Have you conducted?
Yes, I've been there. And
Yeah.
I've also been to the one here, just outside of Springfield.
So officiating burials
out there
of veterans.
Veterans and folks who lost their lives defending our country. And I see all those folks. And my father was a veteran. And he served during the Korean War. 4 of his brothers were in Normandy, all survived.
Which is a miracle in itself.
It was a miracle in itself, because a lot of boys didn't over there. And the thing the thing that they were dying for, the things that they were giving their lives up, to keep from happening, is the very thing that a faction within our country are trying to get us to embrace now. Meaning, all those lives that were lost would be lost in vain, and that saddens me. So while I can, I'm still going to celebrate our freedom, and I'll probably be celebrating that freedom until, well, even after they tell me I can't, I'll celebrate my freedom.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yes, absolutely.
Dale, it's good to have you in here.
Thank you. It's good to be in here.
Hola.
Hello.
Like it.
He's still mad, so I still his.
So, are you ready for the 4th of July?
I'm so ready. I've been ready since July 5th of last year.
That is absolutely fair.
Because I celebrate freedom.
Yes. And cool hats.
Yes.
And SOTO life.
Yes.
All right. So, to learn more,
visit us on stateoftheozarks.net.
Sign up for State of the Ozarks weekly email.
Like State of the Ozarks on Facebook.
Follow at SOTO Media on Twitter.
Subscribe to SOTO Media on YouTube.
Follow us on Instagram at State of the Ozarks.
And subscribe to this Been Thinkin About podcast on iTunes.
Thank you for listening to Been Thinkin About, the State of the Ozarks podcast with Josh.
And Ethan.
And this is our Ozarks.
Your community. I got cocky and decided I could try to read it off without looking and...
Just roll with it.
Yeah, and wow.
It is a rooster who likes fireworks. He's cocky. Fireworks. Give me your titty ball, I want to bite it.
Good night, folks.